Musician, songwriter, producer, and now nonprofit founder Jonathan Mookie Morant wrote a memoir in 2023 about his life and his music. Now he's writing love letters to his son, who's autistic. Today, I talk one-on-one with Jonathan about his latest book for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Jonathan Mookie Morant, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Happy to be here, back finally.
Yes, sir.
It's been so long. It's been like 5 months.
Yes, sir. You know, the last time I interviewed you about your memoir about life and music in 6 degrees called The Happy Has-Been was in 2023 when it was released. Now you have released another book called Letters to My Son, Rōman, Love on the Spectrum.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, Jonathan.
Yes.
What is your life now in 6 degrees?
Okay, so let me share with you, in 6 degrees, since we spoke, The Happy Has-Been,
Yes.
A memoir of music and life in 6 degrees, went #1 10 times over in every iteration, from hardback to paperback, hardcover, paperback, ebook, and Audible. Blessings. And it's taken me around the country. The book has gone global. It's allowed the opportunities to speak with people,
Yes.
and it's just been such a blessing. And pivoting to my new book, which wasn't going to be a book until well into next year, I can thankfully say the same thing happened with that. I released it a month and a half ago. It instantly went #1 on parenting charts and children with disabilities, which is my heart's mission now because of my son Rōman, who's nonverbal on the spectrum. And the name of the book again is Letters to My Son Rōman, Love on the Spectrum. It's doing phenomenal things, but most of all, it's creating a pathway so that we can speak to people. And I've started a foundation called Rōman's World, to where we're going to raise money to directly help families who live on the spectrum.
What was that pathway for autism children and parents prior to your book?
Well, the interesting thing that I found, my son is 6.5 years old. So while I'll let you know that I don't have all the stats, the charts, the graphs, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a professional in the field, but what I am a dad professional. And I live this life with him. So my experience tells me that first of all, this boy changed my life for the better. He's opened my world to a new line of he's nonverbal, but we communicate. Oh, my kids better not get mad because they know how much I love them, my other kids. But we communicate better than any other words that have ever been spoken. He's opened me up to a whole new world. But sadly, in the experience, both me and Rōman's mom, who is in the medical field and has access, it's still a fight to get programs, to have the resources, frankly, financially, and if it is for us, and if it is for example, Rōman's mom's family, who they have access, but it's still a fight. So imagine what it is for people who don't have access. And in my case, I'm a minority. I'm a black man. So for minorities in the space who have family members on the spectrum, particularly children, it's a dogfight, just to be honest. So South Carolina got some work to do. It's my home. I love it. So our mission with the foundation, Rōman's World, is to raise money to directly be able to help families, at least in the short term, to help them find resources, or maybe if they just need just a little hand, a little help.
Yes.
Because it's rough.
Yes, sir. I want to get back to that in a second. But since this book has been actually released, how is Rōman's World?
Oh, great question. Well, I'll tell you, man. So Rōman now lives in Greenville with his family, his mom and mom's family. I might have mentioned that before, but I'm still in Charleston. I go up there often and we have our overnight visits. And he is doing great. He made it into a great program called Project Hope, based in Greenville, but it's a national program. It's incredible, where they've been helping families on the spectrum, people with autism, kids in schooling and in therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy. They do a great job. And again, but again, I'd be remiss to not mention that there's a waiting list. 1 year, 2 years. Rōman's mom, thankfully, was able to get him. I don't know if it was moved, but was able to get him on the program. But it was a dogfight. So I think of all the people who have in their family that they're just out here, just spinning. And in South Carolina, I don't want to be harsh, but I have to say there's plenty of resources here. So my goal and my hope is, just like we need it, is I know other families need it, so that we can maybe shine a light on that. Rōman's doing fine, but he's still nonverbal. We're working on it. We still have to, we still wears diapers. All the things. There are many things that come with autism that you can expect. This might go on for years. Many families. I have a dear friend of mine who I'm working with, Hector Salazar. You might know him. He has the Autism Broadcast Network. Well, his son is 19. Angelo, beautiful boy. But we're still dealing with things like diapers. I mean, this is a lifelong experience. And so these families, they need, and they should have our help. So that's my goal with Rōman's World, the foundation.
You say that obviously South Carolina has the resources, Mookie, but
Yeah,
how do you get that access?
There you go. Yeah, well, again, like I stated in the onset,
Right.
I don't necessarily have that answer yet, but the goal with this movement is we're going to get that answer. And I know people. I have plenty of partners. There's a young lady named Layla Luna who has Just Be. Yeah, she's incredible. So we're partnering. There's the Gate, it's a beautiful Gate Center, Dave Muirhead. So all of these facilities, they have all the pathways and the knowledge in terms of where we need to go to make this happen. I'm just a mouthpiece, to be frank, and I have a son, and I have the experience. But my goal, because of the attention that I'm receiving, thankfully, with both books, well, I'm getting the attention, so I'm going to pivot to make sure our families, our beautiful families with autism, you're on the spectrum, that they get the attention that's needed. And so I think that's my place in this. Shine a light on it.
Absolutely. And I'm being redundant, Mookie, but let me ask you.
That's okay, please.
What got you from the happy has-been to now letters to my son with Rōman?
Let me tell you, that is not redundant. In fact, you're doing a good job of keeping me straight, because that's a great question. Okay, and I do want to tell the story, so I'm glad you asked. So, when the Happy Has-Been came out and all the wonderful things started happening that I had no idea, I'm so thankful that I did not see it coming. But one thing is, when it comes, I'm ready. So I was ready for it, and so everything's going on, and then, so this part's sad. So I hope this isn't going to bring people down, but I have to share how it happened. So I had been writing letters to my son, Rōman, since before he was born, before we got his diagnosis, all the things. You'll see that in the book. The letters, you'll see the progression in the experience, even to when we got the diagnosis and all those things. But I had planned to put out a book, but maybe in a year or more, because frankly, I'm in the middle of the Happy Has-Been. It's still brand new. It just came out in January of 1. So nobody in their right mind, from a business standpoint, from a publishing standpoint, is going to put out a book and then step on top of it with another book. But I'm not necessarily in my right mind. But I'll say this. So what happened was, a dear friend of mine and his wife, recently they lost their child. They lost their, sorry about that. They lost their son suddenly, 18-month-old baby. And I was asked to go to the funeral. And I had shared this before, but I don't typically do funerals, man. I watched my mom and dad pass recently. I believe in life is for the living, and when your soul gets free of this right here, oh, you're good. I mourn. I'm sad. I don't want to lose my people. But once you're gone, man, now we got this. We take up the armor. But I love these people dearly, and it broke my heart. And I think about my own children and what it would be like. So I'm sitting in the funeral, and the dad is oh man, it's heart-wrenching, sharing and trying to speak to everyone there watching. And there's tears, and we're all broken up. But he soldiered on, and he said something that hit me. He said, "Hey, if you're holding in grudges, if you're holding on to anything, if you're waiting on anything, don't wait." And immediately, that was it. After the funeral, I went home. I said, "You know what? This book that I've been writing, it's ready." It's not like it wasn't ready. I had been writing it, and I just was sitting on it. I was like, "Well, I better wait and strategize the next." No, it's ready, and I'm not going to wait because there's no later. There's now.
Right.
So I just put it out myself, whatever come what may. So what happened though? When you listen to your soul and you listen to that intuition and the universe jumps in, it's doing great things and opening up the doors to the foundation and to being able to shine a light and not just be about some book. It isn't just about a book. Because truly, I wrote the letter. Was writing these letters to my son in hopes that one day he'd either read it or I could read it to him.
Yes.
It's personal, and I put myself out there. But it's resonating with people, and it's helping other families. I get chills thinking about the messages, calls, and emails I've gotten tons and tons sharing. Let's you for sharing this, and I'm like, thank you for whatever. So now I invite people. Let's do this together.
Yes.
Let's join in. Let's the autism community. Oh my gosh, people. But not only that. You will learn more about love and compassion and embracing and acceptance and allowance than you could ever in any other community. I'm going to step out and say that. And so we all need that. We all need that love and empathy. So that is my goal in this. It isn't just for the autism community. It's for us. I tell you, I've gained more in my heart since my Rōman has been here than in 50 years prior to him. All right, I'll shut up now.
How do you love and have compassion for people today?
Well, I'll tell you, first off,
yes,
I'm no shining light. My mom used to call me Messy Mark and that stuff. I've had a messy life. I'm just like everybody else. I've been fortunate. I'm thankful I'm still here. I've experienced some unbelievably amazing things, which I shared in the Happy Has Been. But I've also had some incredible drops. But through it all, I'm here and I'm joyous and I'm happy. And so now I'm able to see, particularly because of my baby boy, he's helping me to see, listen, the love and compassion again. I'm receiving it. So I need to get it out there, and I'm receiving it because of him and because of the beautiful autism community. So we have it sometimes a little backwards. Yes, we need empathy and compassion towards people who have particular disabilities or conditions. But I got to tell you, when you experience and spend time with this community, you're going to find that I think we're the ones who need compassion. I think they got it. I think they got what we need because I'm getting it all day. And my little guy is just smiling. He's happy all day and he's not moved by any circumstances, first of all. So let's get some of that going. That's where it lies.
Which one of those love letters to Rōman actually resonates with the autism community and the others?
Okay, so originally at the end, I ended up doing a hardcover edition of The Happy Has Been, and as a bonus, I added the first letter at the end of the book as a teaser. I don't know, but I thought it would be cool because people were asking about my family as I got towards the end of the book. For those who read it, I started to share outside of the record business more recently. But what I've heard, and I won't give it all away because I want people to be able to read it and get what they get. But there's a particular exchange where I'm sharing a letter to my boy Rōman, almost as if he can speak, like we're in dialogue.
Yes.
And I'm kind of making it up, but it's what I guess I kind of believe it would be like. So I won't share I won't say the letter because I can't even remember it really. I have to write it, but I would say so I've heard from many that was impactful because especially people who also have autistic children, particularly nonverbal, they've reached out and said that was it. This is how they see life. with their child. So that resonated. But it's different for different folks, you know.
Right.
And again, not just people who do live on the spectrum, actually more who don't. Because that's the idea, the separation. There's this community and that community. That's part of the way we miss the empathy, we miss the compassion, because we're not mingled, we're not together. So the idea, no, I'm not reaching out to the autism community in general. I'm reaching out to the human community. You know, I'm reaching out to humanity to say, look, we are all in this together, and you'll find more and more that we really are already. And again, back to my first book.
Yes, sir.
It's about connection. So it's really, how do they say, it tracks.
What else is this second book connecting people to?
Again, it's more of a, again, because it's my personal letter to my son.
Yes.
I'm hoping that it's connecting them to the human experience, because no matter whether you understand, whether you're familiar with the spectrum, whether you're not, whether you know anyone, whether you don't, most people do and don't even realize it, even oftentimes. But whatever your situation, whether you have children, whether you don't, that we are all connected, and that when you read these letters, you will see, hopefully, a little bit of you in your life, maybe your family, your friends in this. Because I don't leave any, I'm literally just sharing my heart.
Yeah.
And I think we all have a heart if it's still beating. So, yeah. I don't know if I answered your question, but
you did.
That's me. That's me. I go off fast sometimes.
Oh yes. What part of you is inside of Rōman?
Oh man, Quintin, man, I love you. Your questions. Whew. I would say to anyone going on Quintin's show, don't bother getting ready for the answers, because he's going to hit you in the best way. He's going to give you something. Oh, you did it the first. What? Let me show you this, and I'm gonna answer your question.
Yes,
people need to know that your first interview with me.
Yes, sir.
Something stuck, and it hashtag, and it was. I remember you asked me a question I wasn't ready for about my daughters, but I answered it because I just spoke from my heart when I said I need them to leave people smiling. Well, that's a hashtag now. Hashtag leave people smiling. You did that. Let's just get that straight. Quintin did that. So I needed to say that. But so back to the question. Can you ask me the question again? See what I did?
Yeah. What part of you is with Rōman?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because I don't want to presume. But one thing about him being nonverbal, about him being nonverbal, is that you actually pay attention to more of the other senses. So something what you're saying to me, I think I can see that. Oh, so sorry. I don't know how to stop this. I'm doing a phone transfer.
Oh, no worries.
Okay. What I see is we spend a ton of, and first of all, we've spent 5.5 years of his life together, at least half of the time. So sorry.
Yeah.
Please. I don't know why this is happening.
Oh, no worries.
I got a lot going on. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get it. I'm not a technology guru. I'm working on that with somebody else. What I see in Rōman, first of all, the happy hazard. People asking me about that. It's just because I'm a happy guy. I've been told that this guy's just happy, he's laughing, and you see it. I just, even when somebody, even in the worst situation, I'm trying to retain that happiness. Rōman smile. When you see the images, and I'll share some with you if you want to, we'll put with this, but it's out there. You tend to get all you need to know, and I want to say, now his mom has a great smile. I'm sure but I swear to you, when you see our pictures side by side, I want to say he got some of his smiles from me.
Yes.
But it's not the point of the physical smile. It's the nature of him. He is a happy soul. Now, if his phone ain't working, he can't get through his YouTubes that he repeats over and over. We got to there's going to be a discussion. He's going to want my phone. But genuinely, he's happy. There's love. Something comes from him that gets on to people. And it is, all I can say is love. So I might be presumptuous saying that that's from me. I'm sure it's from his mom. But that's the way I try to conduct life. And He's also musical. Like, we haven't gotten into that yet, but I promise you, he doesn't want to. He has nothing to do with all kinds of things. So, boy, when he sees my keyboard, he's over it. So, other than that, I'm gonna keep watching. But I feel like the joy he has, I'm hoping that he got some of that from me, which I did get from my parents, and definitely music.
Oh yes, oh yes. I remember seeing your father right there sing at the Cooper River Bridge Run. I mean, that was iconic. He was just an iconic person. Period.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Yeah, Pop. Oh yeah, those are huge shoes, a heavy shadow to be up under. But I'm thankful for it, because otherwise, I'm just, who knows. So I'm grateful.
And I know you have to run, but let me ask you one last question.
Okay.
You talk about retaining happiness. What else did you retain personally from writing this book?
Okay, good. Great. Another great question. I can tell you, because it had been a 6.5 year process, even more. Like, I started writing. I had a health scare that I shared in The Happy Husband. I think I told you 6 weeks before Rōman was born. So that shifted my perspective, because it wasn't a small scare. It was a pretty major scare. Thankfully, I made it through. Here I am. But knowing that my baby boy was on the way, I immediately was like, I have to leave him something. I have to share something with him. So I began writing letters. Before any diagnosis, before anything, just wanting him to know my heart. And in that 6.5 year process, we formed a bond. And I still write to him now. Maybe there'll be a part 2. But from the book, the happiness and what has come from me, what has come to me through the process, that hopefully resonates with others, because otherwise it would have just been letters and they would have stayed there and it would have been in a book form. But the idea is that if it can just shed light on this with other people, because that's what I get, is not keeping it to myself, even in a personal way. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to write a book. That's not even it. I wasn't even going to be a book writer, but now I am, and I got about 4 more in the queue ready. We're about to go. But what I'm saying is, there are times and points in your life that you'll feel in your heart and your soul, telling you need to share this because other people are depending on it. So Rōman's life and life with us together on the spectrum, again, love on the spectrum, that's not just for us. That is for everyone else. This book is the pathway to Rōman's world, the foundation, which is about other people. So this book, hopefully, that's what it's giving. That's what I get from it, and that's what I'm going to walk in on my new mission now, to shine the light on this beautiful community that I'm a part of.
Yeah, man. And you talk about that book, Letters to My Son Rōman, Love on the Spectrum. So now that this book has been published, what else do you want to put on that spectrum, Jonathan?
Very good. Well, again, and I've said it over and over, but the focus now will be Rōman's World, the foundation. It will be a nonprofit. So we're out here to raise money, to raise funds, to help these families, and to bring, of course, create awareness, to provide access, resources, and of course the educational piece. We want people to be educated. So I have tons of people partnering up, more and more coming in daily, so that there will be people who have all the stats, the knowledge, the experience, the background, the things that I, quite frankly, it's not my wheelhouse. I'm a guy, I'm a dad, I'm an autism dad who's living this. So I want people to understand the experience just from a regular guy who has a beautiful son who's on the spectrum. So I'm going to continue to share this, whether it's in writing, speaking to people. We're going to do tons of events. My guy, Chef Brett McGee, and my partner, Laura Patrick, we've teamed up. We have a major event coming August 25th at Bay Street Beer Garden. Layla Luna is going to be involved with Just Be, the beautiful Gate Center. So my rallying people, that's that's what I have to offer, is getting friends and people in this community of Charleston, quite frankly, some influential people, because the truth is, people talk about influencers. For me, influences for this. My first book, I was a little shy about. I needed people to speak up and kind of talk, because it's about me, and I'm like, I don't know,
Right.
But But for Rōman and for this particular cause, oh, I'm not shy. I'm coming begging. I'm coming asking. I'm coming for you. We need you. In other words, we can't do this by ourselves. But with you, we can make a difference. As Layla Luna says, she says, we can just be the change. And I agree with her. So Rōman's World, the foundation is the push. We're going to do these events. We're going to do tons of fundraisers. And we're going to offer things. Like, we're not just going to be asking. We got stuff. I know a couple of people. You know, they might. You never know with Mook what wonderful surprise might come down the pike. I even know a couple of celebrities. In case you haven't read the first book,
Right.
So tap in. You don't want to miss this.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, author, musician, songwriter, producer, and nonprofit founder, Jonathan Mookie Morant. Thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quintin. I truly love you. And anytime, man, we're going to do this every
In
other
person.
Oh, yes. Next time, let's do it. Oh, I'll tell you, I'll have something new for you in about 3 months. So stay tuned. That's how we're doing it.
Yes,
Thank you, Quintin. I appreciate you. Love you, brother. And to your friend, your people out there watching, come see us. Rōman's World, the foundation. We'll give you all the ways to connect. Man, we can do this together. This is Charleston's community and the broader community. We can do this. We can make that change.
Thank you so much.